CBS Sports welcomes you to the following presentation of the National Football League.
Colts have owned the head-to-head meeting matchups with the Tennessee Titans, 9 straight wins. And they have dominated them on the stat sheet as well, but could be a different time here. We know the Colts limp in here after that meltdown in Houston, a lot of injuries. And it is a beautiful Nashville October afternoon. Temperatures already up into the 70s and not a cloud in the sky, as Tennessee won the toss and elect to receive. Pat McAfee on to boot it away from his own 35. And Mark Mariani will play it from inside his own 5. Crosses the 20 and takes on tacklers at around the 23-yard line. Good return of 20. Antonio Morrison on the tackle. So here comes Marcus Mariota. Has turned the page after a bit of a struggle through the first quarter of the season. 7 touchdowns total in the last 2 weeks, just 1 pick, but has struggled, interestingly enough, at home so far in his career. This is a revamped offensive line. Mike Mularkey telling us that Taylor Lewan, his left tackle, playing as well as any offensive lineman in the league, and DeMarco Murray, 4th in the league in rushing, entering week 7. So the Titans will start from their own 22 on 1st and 10. Mariota fakes the handoff, little quick strike. This is the tight end, Delaney Walker. Close to the 30, a pickup of 5 as we take a look at this maligned Indianapolis defense, giving up at least 20 points in all 6 games. Art Jones, who made his return last week, sat out all of last season with that injury. DeQuell Jackson headlines the linebackers. And Patrick Robinson, who's missed 3 games this season due to injury, out last week with a hip, is back in the lineup and making the start. Defensive coordinator Ted Monachino calling plays from the sideline. Quick pass from Mariota is caught. That's the backup tight end Anthony Fasano, and a late marker comes in at the end of the play. They pick up 10. It's a first down on the catch alone, and now the penalty from our referee today, Jerome Boger.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness. Defense, number 80, 56. 5-yard penalty, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
One thing about Boger's crew, Sam, when they call the most penalties in the league on average. Another look at the penalty.
Yeah, Fasano was out of bounds. He was in the white when Akeem Ayers, right there, land the hit out of bounds. Remember, it's about protecting players, safety first.
So Ayers whistled for the penalty. And now the Titans inside Indianapolis territory. DeMarco Murray, 4th leading rusher in the NFL. And boy, what an acquisition he has been for John Robinson, their new GM, and this Titans team.
No, this offense is built to run. You talked about it, the 2 offensive tackles with Taylor Lewan and Jack Conklin. Look, 3rd best in terms of 146 yards per game average, and they run it close to 30 times a game, 4th most in the NFL, and been able to top 100 yards rushing for 5 straight games.
Murray was held in check last week in that win here over Cleveland. Rushed for only about 65 yards in that game as he lowers his shoulders, picks up 4, and very close to another Tennessee first down. But if you look at his average yards per touch, Solomon, kind of a similar start to that record-setting campaign he had in Dallas back in 2014.
Well, he led the league in rushing in 2014 behind that dominant offensive line with the Dallas Cowboys. You saw the numbers drop. I thought he was poorly used in a system that was really not predicated to him to run downhill toward the defense in Philadelphia. Now he's back behind a good offensive line in the right kind of system.
Lines up in the I formation set behind his fullback Fowler. This is 3rd and 1 from inside the 40. And Murray has plenty as they'll move the chains again.
They're working off the left side of that offensive line behind Ben Jones, the left guard Quentin Spain, and the left tackle Taylor Lewan. You can see the right guard Klein. He pulls around, and this is how you got to use DeMarco Murray. Allow him to be a north-south runner, to use the power that he has behind a powerful offensive line to really come right at this Indianapolis Colts defense.
Sixth play of the drive. It began just outside their own 20. This is Murray again. And as Mike Mularkey reminded us in our conversation with him yesterday morning, look, this has been a Tennessee franchise that has had some pretty poor offensive lines, dormant running games here the last number of years. And this is a far different look for this team and a big reason why they're sitting at 3-3.
Well, we talked about this being a new team with a new mentality. It's all brought in by their head coach, Mike Mularkey, who spent a lot of his career playing in Pittsburgh. Russ Grimm, the offensive line coach. They want to hammer the running game and use play-action pass in the passing.
Shard Matthews in motion, and penalty markers whistle the play dead.
Before the snap, false start. Offense number 67, 5-yard penalty, still second down.
It's Quentin Spain, and you mentioned Russ Grimm. There he is. Of course, a member of the Hogs, top offensive lineman during his heyday in the 80s. And everyone you talk to here, Mularkey, DeMarco Murray, they all talk about Grimm, put him right at the top of the list for their improved play.
Well, he's coaching some very young players up front on this offensive line, but he's already instilled the identity that they're going to be tough and they're going to be physical.
After the penalty, line up just outside the 35. This is 2nd and 11. Mariota goes through his progressions. We know he can run. Last second, decides to throw it and finds Tajay Sharp, the rookie out of UMass. 19th catch of the season. And that'll set him up with a third down coming up.
You can see they're in shotgun. When they're in shotgun, they want to throw the football. Now, they're going to give you some read option out of that shotgun look, maybe a few play action passes, but primarily when Marcus Mariota is under center, they want to run the football. When they're in the shotgun formation like what you see here, it's more of a pass play, but when the back is set deep, they will run that dive play on the read option.
Mariota on 3rd and 3, fires far side, high pass, caught. That's the Pro Bowler Walker, who had just one catch last week, already has exceeded that number, 14 yards in a first down.
And this offense is on the move. You see they move Delaney Walker. They kind of have a rub right there on the linebacker. That was Robert Mathis in chase, but in this shotgun formation, that's what Marcus Mariota is very comfortable throwing the ball out of that formation. It's what he did primarily in his college career at Oregon. Now he's going to be under center, and this is when they look to run the football and could get a play-action pass.
Another area of just how much they've improved offensively in the red zone. You saw their numbers on the year. 1st and 10. This is Murray showing that dynamic running ability that has made him so deadly at times in his career. A pickup of 5. This is a good situation that an offensive coordinator likes. 2nd and 5.
This is why this offense is perfectly built around a young quarterback. What is that? A powerful offensive line. Good, big running backs. You want to be able to eat clock if you're Mike Mularkey and rest your defense. They are 3rd in the NFL in terms of time of possession. You can see them already eating up nearly half of the first quarter on this one drive.
And in motion is Andre Johnson. Mariota play action. Goes underneath. It's caught. This is Taylor Lewan. Surprise, surprise. And look at the big fella in for the Tennessee touchdown.
Just wonderfully done. It's a tackle eligible play. Here he is right here, but take a look. This receiver, he's off the line of scrimmage. That makes Taylor Lewan eligible to catch this ball. It was well designed, and they completely fooled the defense for the Indianapolis Colts. Taylor Lewan is making all kind of plays for his football team.
Everyone fooled on that Indianapolis defense as Taylor Lewan with his first career NFL touchdown. Ryan Suckup on for the point after. Looked like a botched hold on the play. Brett Kern, the punter, throwing it back to Suckup. And so the celebration quickly subsides on that Titans sideline. Taylor Lewan playing at a Pro Bowl level, showing he's got some pretty good wheels on him. 6-0 Titans on CBS. Marker at left tackle catches his first career touchdown. They do miss the point after. But an offense, Solomon, that hadn't scored an offensive drive touchdown before last week, going back to September 13th of last season, and now done it in back-to-back games.
Well, that tells you they were relying on the offensive line, leaning on the run game, and were able to put in a sequence of plays that are very effective to start games.
This is Jordan Todman. The usual return man, Quan Bray, placed on IR this week. You saw Todman kind of change his mind, has to run it out, and it turns out to be a pretty good run. Up the near side, 31 yards on the return. So here comes Andrew Luck. As we take a look quickly at the botched point after. This was on the holder, Brett Kern.
Yeah, he never got it down. He didn't get it down. He dropped it as he went to go place the ball on the ground. He never got off the kick.
So here is Luck. Meltdown in Houston. They blow that 14-point lead with about 3 and change left last Sunday night. Has never lost to Tennessee. Luck from the gun on 1st and 10. Quick delivery and the catch. That's Jack Doyle, already career-high numbers in catches and receiving yards, a pickup of 7. Patchwork offensive line, 5th different starting offensive line that we have seen in 7 weeks this season. You saw Joe Haig making the start, starting in Jack Mewhart's place, and Frank Gore, first 100-yard game by a Colts running back last week since Vic Ballard back in December of 2012, a span of 60 games when you include the playoffs. 2nd and 2, Luck off the far side, it's caught. T.Y. Hilton. Expecting big things from him today with all the missing receivers that they have. A pickup of 22.
Yeah, look at that, just a really nice catch. Is able to get both feet in bounds. Is able to make a play against Parrish Cox.
Quick snap on 1st and 10. This is Frank Gore, that physical running style. And it's a pretty good start for this injury-riddled Indianapolis offense, and pick up there of 7. How about the defensive starters? This Dick LeBeau coached unit that is approaching elite level status. Al Woods on the shelf the last couple of weeks with a calf, was expected to miss 4. Back early. Brian Orakpo, 3rd in the league in sacks with 7. Has had 1 in 5 straight. And Jason McCourty is healthy again. Last season dealing with that sports hernia, limiting him to just 4 games. Luck under center on 2nd and 4. This is Gore. As physical a runner, Solomon, as we have seen in the NFL. Still doing it, 12 years in the league at the age of 33.
Yeah, and today this Indianapolis Colts offense have to be balanced as more than they ever have been, because Frank Gore, he can get it going. Even if you stack 8 in the box, he has the ability to break tackles. He's a powerful runner. He has been throughout his entire career, and if they can get balanced, then Andrew Luck can go play action pass. He's mobile in the pocket, and he's got to be real good in his timing and getting rid of the ball quickly.
See the success Gore has had. He'll split into the slot. 3 tight ends for Luck. Fires on 1st and 10, and that pass off the hands of his tight end, Eric Swope, who has only been playing football for about 3 years. Never played in college. Played college basketball at Miami, and that went right off his hands.
Yeah, Swope doesn't haul that one in. He's got to be able to make that catch. We talked about Andrew Luck getting rid of the ball quickly. That time he did. The ball came out at the top of his drop. Swope was open. He's got to be able to make that catch and create 3rd and manageable situations. Now they're looking at 2nd and long.
Saw the issues that they have had with the drops. Not doing Luck any favors. 2nd and 10. Luck from the shotgun. Pocket starts to collapse over the middle, off the hands of Hilton. That one a little bit more difficult of a catch, but one that Hilton usually pulls in.
And what did we say at the top of the game? You can't put it all on Andrew Luck. Offensive line have to be able to protect him. Receivers have to be able to make these types of catches to sustain drives. The running game has to work it. The defense can't give up 7 points or 6 points in this case on the opponent's first drive. It seems like all too often the Colts have to put it all on Andrew Luck.
Third and 10. Luck's pass too high for Hilton. There is a marker in the Tennessee secondary, right around the 20.
Holding. Defense, number 23. 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
That's Bryce McCain, who's been dealing with an ankle injury, coming over in free agency from Miami, and another big defensive penalty in this game.
Absolutely. There you see that right hand. He's grabbing the shoulder of T.Y. Hilton, who is getting separation at the top of the route. Bryce McCain have to play coverage with his feet, not with his hands, beyond 5 yards down the field.
Colts, of course, playing without their stud tight end, Dwayne Allen. So Chase Kaufman, whom they signed just this week, spent training camp in the preseason with him. Into the game on 3 tight end formation that they call. It's Frank Gore. And you just can't give this offense new life, Salma, with those kinds of defensive penalties, something we have not seen much of, those kinds of mistakes from Dick LeBeau's defense.
Yeah, if you're the Tennessee Titans, you understand that you've lost 9 straight to the Indianapolis Colts. In fact, you know, these Tennessee Titans haven't been able to beat the Colts in the Chuck Pagano, Andrew Luck era. And so Dick LeBeau knows it. Mike Mularkey knows it. They've got to be able to overcome that psychological hurdle and finally get a win here at home against these Colts.
8th play of the drive. This is Luck on 2nd and 8. Fires near side of the field, and it is caught. That's Eric Swope. Out of bounds, just shy of the 5. Pushed out by Damian Stafford. It's a pickup of 16.
Now how about this? Swope makes a nice catch right there. Wasn't an easy one. He's a former basketball player. How about that? He can come down with the rebound in tight covers to get both feet in bounds, making a play for Andrew Luck.
Andrew Luck told us yesterday, he was joking with Swope this week, hey, congrats on your first NFL catch. And Swope said, hey, that's my first catch at any level. Of course, never played in high school, never played in college. It's an incredible story. And suddenly thrust into a big role. 1st and goal, this is Gore. Lowers his shoulders, gets inside the 3. As Indianapolis inching a little bit closer. There's Chuck Pagano, the eternal optimist. 8-0 all time against the Titans. If there's one team and one coach who's been resilient, that man's certainly at the top of the list.
Well, the players, they talked about Chuck Pagano and just how positive and upbeat he is and how he's able to stand in front of the team and give them the right message to keep them really working hard despite missing so many players on the offensive side of the ball. This offense looks really good in their first possession.
Where do they go here on 2nd and goal? Look like Luck bobbled the snap for a moment. Throws end zone. What's the signal here? Frank Gore on the Indianapolis touchdown.
He initially faked it to Gore as if it was some kind of play action read. And Andrew Luck didn't have anywhere to go with the ball. Watch, you'll see Gore, he'll just come and set up right here. And look at that. It's just a really nice sidearm throw from Andrew Luck. They had everyone covered in the end zone. But it was a nice fake to Gore, and then Gore ends up getting the ball on the touchdown reception.
2nd receiving touchdown of the season for Frank Gore. Trying to follow up his 100-yard game last week in that loss in Houston. Adam Vinatieri, Mr. Automatic, perfect on the extra point. So Luck marches him down the field, and now both teams with an opening possession touchdown.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. Progressive. Handing off big savings to you. And by Honda. Great deals are waiting for you at your local Honda dealer.
So many similarities between our 2 quarterbacks today, Marcus Mariota and Andrew Luck. Both playing youth soccer as kids growing up. Both quiet, solid, kind of reserved guys. And both of them oozing talent. That one will be kneeled in the end zone by Mark Mariani. So we'll see Mariota and the Tennessee offense once again when we come back. Well, your weekend starts on Thursday when the Jacksonville Jaguars tangle with the Tennessee Titans, only on NFL Network. Jim, Phil, and Tracy will be here for that one. Short week for Mike Mularkey and the Titans. Spiro D. Salman Wilcox, Ryan Galvin, our producer, Andy Goldberg, our director, rest of our CBS crew from Nashville. 1st and 10. DeMarco Murray looking for some daylight. Cutback ability, trying to get to the edge. Well, how about Marcus Mariota? We heard about the whispers, Solomon, about his struggles through the first quarter of the season. 7 total turnovers through the first 4 weeks, but it seems like he's settled in nicely the last 2 games.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. He's done a better job in terms of ball security. You can see his ability to get it into the end zone and then not turn it over. And his completion percentage has gone up over the last 2 weeks. He's still a young quarterback, but sometimes he'll try to do too much, and he has to really refrain from forcing the football.
On 2nd and 9, hands off to Murray. And that's one thing he told us yesterday with this rebuilt offensive line, with the running game now spearheaded by Murray, and with this defense, he knows that he doesn't have to win games all by himself.
And this is probably the first time he's ever been told that by a coach, because whether it was in Little League, college, high school, he had to do it all. He was used to doing that as a competitive player, but Mike Mularkey has really taught him that, hey, let's rely on our football team and those other elements, and let's win in a more complementary fashion.
Much improved offense on 3rd down. See them, what they've done in this range. That pass to a receiver in Murray who was not expecting the ball thrown that quickly. Akeem Ayers was there on the coverage. Mike Mularkey sends out his punter on 4th down.
Well, how about this? Mariota hit his intended target, and that was DeMarco Murray. He just didn't get his head around, and the ball hit him square in the back in between that 2 and 9.
So a little bit of a miscommunication, and after that opening drive touchdown, the Titans go 3 and out. This is Brett Kern, who had an outstanding game last week here against Cleveland in that 2-point win. Pinned the Browns inside their own 24 different times. This is Chester Rogers who muffs it for a moment. 49-yard punt, 6 on the return. There was a flag thrown just in front of where Rogers was tackled.
During the return, holding, receiving team, number 25. 10-yard penalty. Indianapolis keeps the ball. 1st down.
That's Patrick Robinson on the penalty. Another look at the miscommunication between Mariota and Murray on CBS.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by McDonald's. I'm loving it. And by Bud Light. Make the right call. Drink responsibly.
Some great shots of both Mike Mularkey and Chuck Pagano. Mularkey, of course, a former tight end at Florida. And Chuck Pagano, former strong safety at Wyoming, where he graduated back in 1984. And the chess match continues here between those two men in Nashville. Luck on 1st and 10 from under center. It has time. Low throw. It is caught by Hilton, but out of bounds. So it is ruled an incompletion. This is what the Colts are dealing with today. With all the injuries, 3 of their top 4 receiving targets out on the shelf, and Solomon without their best offensive lineman in Muhort.
Yeah, Andrew Luck is playing behind that 5th starting rotation on the offensive line today. And that's not good news for a quarterback who's the most sacked of any quarterback in the NFL entering today's game. But so far, they've done a really good job of keeping him clean, and he's done a good job of getting it to his receiver.
Luck so far 4 of 7 for 52 yards and the touchdown. This is Gore, able to cross the 20 after a pickup of 5. Tomorrow, TV's #1 new comedy now starts a half hour earlier. Don't miss special guest star Ray Romano when he visits Kevin Can Wait tomorrow, 8/7 Central, only CBS. Beautiful Sunday October afternoon in Nashville on a critical 3rd and 5 coming up.
And if I am the Tennessee Titans, I would try to double T.Y. Hilton wherever he is. You got to know where he is and cover him over the top and underneath.
Robert Turbin comes in and flanks Luck on 3rd and 5. Luck putting some air under it, a little bit too much intended for Hilton. And now Hilton and McCain jawing at each other.
Bryce McCain, T.Y. Hilton felt he was holding him, but take a look at Brian Arapa in that track stance coming around that corner. He's been very good at getting pressure on the quarterback, but T.Y. Hilton was the intended receiver, and there's Bryce McCain holding him right there coming out of the break, and that's why T.Y. Hilton was upset. He was livid that he was held by McCain.
Solomon, I'd hate to have to block a rack pull. That guy is big, he is tough. He's been on some kind of tear, sacking each of the last 5 games. Longest streak by a Titan, by the way, since Javon Curse did it 6 straight back in 03. This is Mariani. Past the 20 and close to the 25. 60 yards on a booming punt from McAfee. 6 on the return. Tennessee Titans trying to end this long losing streak to the Indianapolis Colts. 9 straight losses, 14 in the last 15. Haven't defeated the Colts since week 8 of 2011. Matt Hasselbeck outdueling the immortal Curtis Peter in that game here in Nashville. 1st and 10. Mariota again fakes the handoff out of the gun. Takes a shot down the seam, but had his man. It was Rashard Matthews, but Mariota a little bit too much on it.
Oh, he was open. And Mariota's got to be able to connect on this one because Matthews is going to come streaking down the field right here. Watch how he gets behind the safety. He beats the corner as well. Now you've got to be able to connect on these because you can't get any more open than that down the field in the National Football League, and Mariota knows it.
Would have been a 76-yard catch right at the point of the reception. Mariota 5 of his first 7. A little option play. He's going to run it. And a big 41-yard run on their first play from scrimmage last week. And he has been very deadly. 60 rushing yards, Solomon, in each of the last 2 games.
Oh, he's really good at this. If you can't connect on that deep one, we told you about the read option, and it's going to come out of shotgun. He's got the arm talent, but he certainly has that speed and athleticism to get to the perimeter and pick up a first down.
14 yards there as Tennessee moves the chains. Have gone 3 and out after their opening possession touchdown to start this game. Just joined us, they missed the extra point. Botched hold on the play by Brett Kern. This is Murray breaking the initial tackler, finds the edge, and picks up a nifty run of 6, forced out of bounds by Indianapolis. Tomorrow on CBS, Matt LeBlanc returns to television in the new comedy Man with a Plan. Don't miss the premiere tomorrow after Kevin Can Wait, right here on CBS. It was a team heirs who missed that initial tackle on Murray.
Well, you're Mike Mularkey. He's trying to get this run game going, trying to get this offense back in sync to try to help this young quarterback.
Under a minute left in the quarter on 2nd and 5. Murray showing his physicality. We expected both of these running games with Murray and Gore, Solomon, to loom large, factor big in this game, and it's exactly what we've seen so far.
Both offenses need that power running game. Both are trying to add balance to help protect their quarterbacks. Frank Gore factors in the ability to protect Andrew Luck to help give the offense some continuity and chemistry, and I think the same for Mariota. Mariota's a really young quarterback who is not going to sit back in the pocket and read defenses. He needs play action passes. He needs the defense to bite up and try to defend that run game to create opportunities to throw the ball down the field like you saw in that miss to Rashard Matthews. They're going to go back to plays like that, and he has to be able to hit on them.
About 6 or 7 inches short as they stop the clock to bring out the chain screw. 21 seconds left in the quarter. Can't overstate just how important this game is for both of these teams. Tennessee at 3-3 have not been over 500 after week 7 since 2011. Started that year at 4-3. And of course, Indianapolis trying to turn the page after that was very disheartening finish in Houston last Sunday night.
I can't believe here on 3rd and inches, because that's not even a full 1 yard. I just can't believe they're going to throw the football with this strong offensive line. They're going to take it into the 4th quarter and figure it out. But our 2nd quarter, excuse me, time doesn't fly that fast. But yeah, I think they're going to take it to the first play in that 2nd quarter. And got to believe they're going to rely on this offensive line to run the football.
And That takes us to the end of the first. Your score, Indy 7, Titans 6. Back to Nashville after this. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Well, interesting to note how Mariota has lined up and how that has dictated the play call for Tennessee.
Yeah, when he's under center, it really is indicative of the fact that they want to run the football. When he's in shotgun, if they'll run it, it's usually of the read option variety.
A little 3rd and 1 play to start the second quarter. Pitched by Mariota. This is Murray. Plenty of open real estate. Getting downhill inside Colts territory. Forced out finally by the safety, Mike Adams. 14 yards and a big Tennessee first down.
Yeah, the option stuff. Look, if he comes down here, you pitch it. And that's exactly, it was a great read. They didn't have the fundamentals there to stop that play. There was no one there to take the pitch man, DeMarco Murray.
Murray, if you've just joined us, again, 4th in the league in rushing. Over 500 yards entering week 7. 3rd in all-purpose yards behind only David Johnson and Cowboys rookie Ezekiel Elliott. What a start to his Tennessee career. After 6 weeks. Play action for Mariota. 1st and 10. That strike falls incomplete. Intended for Sharp, the 5th-round pick out of UMass, who was held without a catch last week. It already has one in this game, and now the injured Colt is Hassan Ridgeway. Colts already shorthanded with their defensive line with Zach Kerr out and also Quentin Spain down for Tennessee. Now Quentin Spain being comforted by his Tennessee teammates, the 2nd-year man out of West Virginia. And again, this has been an offensive line, Solomon, that's been so good. It's a tightly knit group. As Ben Jones told us yesterday. Jones, of course, coming over in free agency from Houston. And you could only hope for the best now as Spain is carted off.
Yeah, he's a talented young player. It's pretty much a very young offensive line with the exception of Ben Jones. He's the veteran of the bunch, 5 years out of Georgia. We only can hope that Spain could come back. I mean, we talked with Mike Mularkey. It's one of the things he credited to his young football team. He says, hey, we're relatively healthy. We just hope that that continues. So, you know, we're going to have to send our prayers out to Quentin Spain.
Spain has been a guy that's had to deal with injuries over his first 2 seasons in the NFL. Or a season and a half, I should say. Limited to only 7 games last season, as now Brian Schwenke, the 4th-year man, former 4th-round pick out of Cal. He's usually a backup center, but now he has to come in and play that left guard position with Spain carted into the locker room. And this will be the first snap, non-special team snap of the season for Schwenke. So after the injury delay, it's 2nd and 10. Off this inside the Indianapolis 40. Pitch play. This is Derrick Henry. Former Heisman Trophy winner last season. And Henry, who had that beastly preseason, looks so good, has just kind of been biding his time behind DeMarco Murray, who has been sensational.
Well, we told you they were built to run. Not only did they add to the offensive line when they drafted Jack Conklin in the 1st round, but they used the 2nd-round pick to get Derrick Henry, 245 pounds, 6'3", to play behind DeMarco Murray. Now, they doubled down at the running back position behind this rebuilt offensive line.
Took Henry 45th overall. Last season, a season low, 2 carries. And that went over Cleveland. 3rd and 7, high pass, tough catch, potentially for Sharp, falls incomplete. And it was Patrick Robinson who has been dealing with an assortment of injuries on the tight coverage.
Ball came out late for Mariota, and that's what allowed Robinson time to react, get over there, and knock that ball away. I thought soon as Mariota hit the top of his drop, he should have pulled it loose, but I'm sure he wanted to wait for the receiver to come completely open as opposed to anticipating the receiver coming open.
So Marcus Mariota started this game hitting his first 5 passes, incomplete on his last 4 attempts. And this once again is where Brett Kahn has been so good. Did this 4 times last week, pinning opponents inside the 20. This time gets him inside the 10.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Touch of Gray for that perfect salt and pepper look. Verizon. Welcome to Verizon LTE Advanced, the next-gen network. And by Intel. Upgrade to a new PC with powerful performance.
official hot chicken, whiskey, and bourbon festival here on Friday night, hosted by the Nashville Predators. Solomon, how do we miss that?
I tell you what, he put on some display prior to kickoff, didn't he?
First two possessions for Indianapolis as we welcome you back to Nissan Stadium. Stadium built here, opened in 1999. Picturesque October afternoon, 7-6 Colts. Tennessee drove the field, started the game with a touchdown, botched extra point, and then Andrew Luck launched his Colts 70-plus yards to take their first lead. Inside his own 5, throwing just outside the end zone, completes to T.Y. Hilton. And surprisingly, with the injuries that they've had, they have protected him and given Luck some time to throw.
And he's done a better job of getting the ball out quickly. You can see under 3 seconds on that pass. And that's what he said he wanted to do, not hold on to the football. You can see in a timely manner, ball coming out, had to hold it here just until Gore could clear the traffic. But right around 3 seconds and under means that Luck is getting the ball out quick. The offensive line is providing the protection.
Came in sacked more than any quarterback, pressured more than any quarterback, but a different story so far as Frank Gore takes on tacklers, gets close to the 20, first down run as they're able to move the chains. But keep in mind, they're without their best offensive lineman today, Jack Newhart, who was a scratch with that triceps injury.
And right now, the Colts have really good balance in terms of their ability to run it with Frank Gore. And then Andrew Luck throwing the ball. Talk about the uncertainty around him with so many moving parts. 3 of his top 4 receivers out of today's game, and had to move some guys around on the offensive line, but he's managing the game well.
See the play selection so far. 10 pass of the day for Luck on 1st and 10. He could scramble, tucks it away, sliding out past the 25. And a good decision by Luck as they pick up 7 with nowhere to throw the football.
We all know Andrew Luck has everything you want in a quarterback, but the sense of timing in the pocket, this is the area where he can continue to get better in terms of making decisions, sliding appropriately and taking what the defense is giving him, and it's still a work in progress. But when he can have that sense of timing in the pocket, when to escape, when to get out, and give up on the play in the right way, you can see he can make things happen.
2nd and 3, a little delayed handoff is taken by Robert Turbin. Don't have much depth today at the running back behind Gore. Jordan Tondon, who has been primarily a special teams guy, is up. As Turbin getting some first half snaps here for Indianapolis. First down for the Colts.
You know, I talked about Luck giving up on the play. That's a good thing. He talked about sometimes that sack total is not all on the offensive line. He said that, yeah, it had a tendency of holding on to the ball too long. Just trying to make something happen, not wanting to give up on the play and holding on to it, waiting for a receiver to come open. Sometimes you just got to get rid of it.
Andre Johnson lines up in the slot. 1st and 10, Luck. Delivering and caught. That's Eric Swope, the tight end. Inside Tennessee territory, and Swope is fired up. First down, a pickup of 34 on the strike from Luck.
Take a look at the protection. He's able to hold it, but still, he's going to get rid of this ball quickly. But can't say enough about the protection and the timely manner in which Luck is getting rid of the ball, and then how accurate he is getting the ball to Swope. Right now, these tight ends are making plays, even though his number 1 tight end, Dwayne Allen, is out. Jack Doyle, Eric Swope, getting open against these linebackers for the Titans.
1st and 10 from the Tennessee 37. Luck has time. Going end zone. It is caught for the Indianapolis touchdown. It's T.Y. Hilton. 37 yards on a picture-perfect pass from Andrew Luck.
Well, this is just a beautiful throw. No safety in the center field. And the protection has to hold up for T.Y. Hilton to come that far down the field, and for Luck to be able to throw it on the money and allow T.Y. Hilton to throw this ball over the top of the free safety, who was sitting there in center field, but took a poor angle, biting up, and Luck is able to get it over the top. And what a catch by T.Y. Hilton against McCourty.
McCourty, one of the top cornerbacks in the NFL. As T.Y. Hilton over the 5,000-yard career receiving mark, does it in 69 games, second fastest Colt to hit that mark. Now behind only Marvin Harrison. Colts building on that lead on CBS. What a drive by Andrew Luck, drives him 93 yards. And you see T.Y. Hilton, second fastest in franchise history to get to 5,000 yards receiving, and that was a tough catch against McCourty in the back of the end zone. So a little short kick here. And they catch Tennessee napping. Football is loose, and Indianapolis has recovered. And disaster for Tennessee. McAfee going short with the kick. Fooled everyone.
Well, they had someone there. Who was that? They just don't make the catch. That's number 89, Philip Supernaw. He's got to be able to recover that. Ball did take sort of a wicked hop, but he was in position to make a play right there. You've got to be able to recover it. Because he doesn't, then the Colts, they swarm it with white jerseys, and they come up with the football.
Hard to see who did recover that football at the end, but it is Colts ball. There's Supernaw, one of their backup tight ends, who had a couple of big catches in their win here over Cleveland last week. And the first big turnover of this game puts the Colts in the driver's seat once again now, up 8.
And if you're the Tennessee Titans, you can ill afford to fall behind big on the scoreboard. Remember, everything is predicated on their ability to run the football. They don't have that wide open passing attack that really allows them to come back, put a lot of points on the board playing from behind.
What does Luck do with a short field after driving this offense 93 yards just a moment ago? Gore, good first down run. And so here are the Titans, Solomon. They were questioned this week. Was this team in fact ready for prime time? Couple of wins in a row. First winning streak they've had here in almost 3 years. And so right now they're down 8.
What you can say about the Indianapolis Colts, they are a prideful bunch with their quarterback and their veteran running back in Frank Gore.
They have had the Titans numbered 9 straight wins in the head-to-head series. Second and 4. Luck has time and just drops it in the breadbasket of Hilton. First down, Indianapolis. Goal to go. It's a pickup of 22.
T.Y. Hilton is just eating up this coverage for the Tennessee Titans. We talked about Philip Dorsett being out of today's game. Dante Moncrief being out as well. And Dwayne Allen, you would think the Titans would double cover T.Y. Hilton and force someone else to beat you, but he's getting single coverage. He's finding soft spot in the zones, and he's getting open.
Hilton has 4 catches, 90 yards in a 37-yard touchdown catch just a moment ago. Luck, back foot throw, nearly caught and nearly picked off the hands initially of Hilton. Late marker comes in behind the line of scrimmage.
Holding. Offense, number 76. 10-yard penalty. Replay. First time.
That's Joe Wright, their right tackle, the 60th man out of Western Michigan.
Well, they're going to attack this area of the field. Here's T.Y. Hilton. He's going to come and he's going to be open. And watch this throw by Luck. He panics a little bit and then he just doesn't get it to him. He's wide open. You got to lead him to the pylon. He's going to catch that and walk in for a touchdown. And T.Y. Hilton is beside himself. He knows he had an easy touchdown there. Bad throw from Andrew Luck.
First and goal after the penalty. They play outside the 15. This is the tight end, Jack Doyle. As beloved a player as there is in that Indianapolis locker room, a pickup of only 3, but he has to play a bigger role now in the absence of Dwayne Allen, whom they're expecting to miss multiple weeks.
And you can see that Chuck Pagano is going to coach very aggressively after squandering that 14-point lead 1 week ago in Houston. After they get the touchdown, what do? They do the onside kick to try to steal yet another possession, knocking on the door for points here in the second quarter. Something tells me they will not let up on these Titans today.
Mariota still biding his time. You see Luck. 5 straight completions. Luck goes through his progressions, goes underneath. That's the tight end again, Doyle. Actually a former Tennessee Titan. Signed as a rookie free agent here back in 2013. Waived during final cuts. So someone who knows the stadium very well.
Tight ends factor huge in this Indianapolis Colts offense. You know, they're going to try to screen, pick, or rub the defender off of T.Y. Hilton. To me, it starts with double covering him and force one of these lesser-known receivers to have to be able to make a play for him.
See Hilton lining up, top of your picture, on a critical 3rd and goal. Luck pats it, goes end zone through the hands of his receiver Doyle, and incomplete.
This is a good throw here from Andrew Luck. He had Jack Doyle open in the end zone. It goes right through the hands of Doyle. Watch this one. It's right on him. It's a little high, yeah, but right through the hands. Luck had to put some heat on it. This area of the football field down inside the red zone where it's tight coverage, you've got to be able to put some mustard on it, and Doyle has to be able to make that catch.
Injured Titan is Damian Stafford, their 4th-year safety. Former 7th-round pick out of Nebraska. So Dick LeBeau's defense doing its job trying to get off the field after the turnover on the kick. And now the Tennessee trainers continue to tend to Stafford.
They had an opportunity to score on that possession. We already showed you the one throw from Luck to T.Y. Hilton, threw it behind the intended receiver. Ended up being an incompletion, and then that one right through the hands of Jack Doyle. That's a possession. As good as it worked out for him on special teams, didn't go so well offensively, and they allowed points to get away from him. We'll have to see if it comes back to haunt him.
Looks like Stafford will walk off on his own power. So here's Adam Vinatieri, who is one made field goal away from tying the NFL record for most consecutive field goals made. Last week past Gary Anderson, hit his 41st straight, and now can tie another former Colts kicker, Mike Vanderjagt, who has the record of 42. Sorenful B from 28. McAfee the holder. And Overton is the long snapper from 28. Vinatieri is perfect. And he has tied Vanderjagt for the all-time record. 42 straight made field goals as Indianapolis builds on its lead.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. And by AutoTrader. Find your perfect new, used, or certified car on AutoTrader.
Fun for the whole family at Shuckles Corn Maze at Fiddle D Farms here in Nashville. Fun family activities, pumpkin patch, little face painting, zip lining. I'm told that Ryan Galvin and Andy Goldberg did the face painting yesterday, a little zip line action.
Is that what was on their face? Came into our production meeting.
Still saw a little bit of the remnants of it, but showed up for work today just on time as Indianapolis extends their lead to 11. And here comes Marcus Mariota. Week 7 continues later today on CBS, and for some of you on Fox. And tonight, Sunday Night Football on NBC. Tomorrow, Monday Night Football on ESPN. Brock Osweiler returns to Denver. Texans and the Broncos. We're at Nissan Stadium, Nashville, Tennessee. Spiro Adidas, Solomon Wilcott, 17-6, Indianapolis. Colts at 3-3, first 2-game winning streak in the same season for them since the end of 2013. But right now, down double digits. That is Murray upended right around the 30, a pickup of 5. Solomon, you've been talking about how their offense is built to run. Now you're down double digits, changes the dynamic of what they have to do offensively.
Absolutely, and I still think you can afford to stay balanced in this situation, but they don't want to fall too far behind on the score.
2nd and 5. This is Murray who's going to run for the first down. So Malarkey and company sticking to his guns, keeping it on the ground. And this is what the receivers have done. Taylor Lewan, if you've just joined us, his first career touchdown.
Yeah, but Rashad Matthews, Kendall Wright, the 2 top receivers, he's yet to catch the ball right now in this offense, and that's what they have to do a better job at. Even though you want to run the football, you have to continue to develop the passing attack and get the balls in the hands of your playmaker.
Tennessee's offense 3rd in rushing, the 29th in the passing game. Mariota on 1st and 10, hit on a release as that one kind of squirts out of his hands. Mariota takes a shot.
And this is why you don't want to fall behind too far on that scoreboard. They are not a primary passing team. You can see Mariota's hit there. He was under pressure. He was hit by DeQuail Jackson. That ball sailed way high over the head of the intended receiver.
Mariota has missed on his last 5 throws. Handoff out of the shotgun. Murray working hard for some yards. That's close to the 45, about a half yard short. A pickup of 9, and now a pivotal 3rd and 1 coming up for Tennessee.
Take a look. If he's in the shotgun, their intent is maybe to pass a quick screen.
Mariota pump fakes, 3rd and 1, throwing for the first down, and it is incomplete. Intended for Andre Johnson. And this offense hearing the boos here in Nashville.
And that's what we talk about. The passing game, if it's not a play-action pass play where the progression is already sort of predetermined for Mariota, at times he can struggle if he has to read coverage and go through a progression. That should have been an easy completion because he had ample time, and Andre Johnson did come open on the play.
Johnson, who of course spent last season with Chuck Pagano and the Colts. Pagano, who recruited him to the University of Miami back in the mid-90s. 50 yards on the punt from Kern. Chester Rogers signals fair catch.
And welcome back. Here's Andre Johnson. This is that 3rd and 1 play. This is how easy a completion this should have been for Mariota. Watch him double clutch. He's got to cut it loose. And we talk about anticipatory throws. That was one. He's got to anticipate and throw it. Don't double clutch it. Trust what you see. See, he didn't cut it loose. By the time now he throws it in accurately, this should be a first down completion to Andre Johnson. The ball should still be in the hands of the Tennessee Titans as opposed to them punting it. Mariota's got to gather himself and make the completions on those easy throws.
Well, after that very impressive drive by Mariota, he has struggled. Very pedestrian numbers, 5 of 11 for him. Seeing the Titans down 11. Another drive for Luck and the Colts that starts inside their own 10. And they've been very good in these kinds of scenarios this season. They've already driven Solomon 93 yards for their last touchdown. And this has to be a surprising first half for people checking in and considering the circumstances for Pagano and all the injuries.
And it's the Titans who normally dominate time of possession, but right now it's dead even between both teams. And if you ask me, it is the Indianapolis Colts who have come on the road and they're controlling the fight.
On 2nd and 7, play action from Luck. Little underneath throw is caught. That's Gore. First down on the catch and run right outside the 20. It's a pickup of 11, and now Luck 11 of 16, 2 touchdowns, and 170 yards through the air.
A lot of credit to the offensive line once again, giving him protection, and he's doing a good job of getting the ball out on time. The Indianapolis Colts come out with a really good game plan.
See what the Colts have done with touchdowns on drives that have started inside the 20. That's tied with Atlanta for the most in the NFL. Luck slinging it, and it is caught. Chester Rogers out past the 20. Made his first career start last week with all the injuries that they have had. Of course, no Moncrief out a month. Dorsett still on the shelf. 21 yards and another first down.
They throw it behind T.Y. Hilton. Look, they're able to get it right there. That's just a really good throw. Well-timed to Chester Rogers in the area vacated by T.Y. Hilton.
Looks like Parrish Cox is the injured Tennessee Titan as the trainers come back onto the field. That's Parrish Cox, the injured Tennessee Titan. Their starter at one cornerback position opposite McCourty. And right at the end of that play, you saw the contact coming over the top from Sean Spence. It's about 230 pounds coming over right on the back of the shoulder of Cox. Solomon, you know what that's like. A lot of collisions in your career. And they're even worse when they're coming from kind of a vulnerable situation like that Cox was in.
Well, they tell defenders, hey, make sure you see what you hit. Don't duck your head. You end up hitting your own teammate as opposed to the opponent. And you could see Parrish Cox shaken up as a result of that hit by Spence.
Second season for Cox since coming over as a free agent before last season. He's been a full-time starter here since then. Former 5th-round pick. Second time they've had to bring out the cart. We saw Quinton Spain, their starting left guard, carted off earlier, putting a dent in that very impressive offensive line that Malarkey has built here in Tennessee. And now they are being very careful with Cox. Most experienced backup corner that Malarkey has is Bryce McCain.
McCain has struggled when he's come in. He's been flagged for pass interference once. Another time when he was matched up against T.Y. Hilton, they could have flagged him a second time. So he's going to have to really play better now that he's filling in for Cox.
So now you're down your starting left cornerback, and there's been a lot of talk, Solomon, about Dick LeBeau's defense, how improved they've been. But so now they're in a position here where they kind of got to prove themselves again and keep this thing close. Mariota seems to be struggling, and that's what you think LeBeau is going to tell his troops at halftime.
Well, coming into today, they did a really good job of pressuring the opposing quarterback. They've had 6 sacks in each of their last 2 games where Dick LeBeau and his defense have been able to get to the quarterback. They haven't been able to get to Andrew Luck at all today. He's been clean, and he's been picking this defense apart.
Valentino Blake also comes in the corner. 50-year man out of Texas, El Paso. 1st and 10. That play whistle dead. Here's Boger.
False start. Offense, number 74. 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
That's Anthony Costanzo. Update on Quinton Spain. It is a right knee, and his return is questionable. We'll get an update on Cox as quickly as we can. 69,000 Nissan Stadium here in Nashville. Temperatures in the mid-70s. You see the penalties now on both sides. Andrew Luck, just under 200 yards passing, a couple of touchdowns if you've just joined us. Trying to build on his 17-6 lead. Pump fake, then a throw, and it's incomplete. Intended again for Hilton. It'll be 2nd and 15.
Now take a look at this play, because T.Y. Hilton, I don't know that he can get any more open than this. And Andrew Luck has good protection. Yes, he buys a little more time, but watch how open he is, and watch how high the ball goes over the head of T.Y. Hilton. We've seen some erratic throws from both quarterbacks, Marcus Mariota and Andrew Luck, here in the first half.
Luck under pressure and sacked for the first time today. Derek Morgan, his 4th sack in the last 3 weeks.
First, good coverage over the top and underneath T.Y. Hilton. There's Bryce McCain there. Then here is Derek Morgan coming off the left side of that defense. He's able to come around. He's able to beat Denzel Good, the right guard, to get the sack.
Loss is 6 on the play. 24th sack. And the Colts have allowed this season, most in the NFL, but they have given him good protection so far in this game up until that play.
Well, that's exactly what the Tennessee Titans need. They need this pass rush to come alive because Luck had been good at getting the ball out rather quickly. It's been a little bit inaccurate here in the second quarter. And so you got receivers coming open. Tennessee Titans need to get some pass rush and get pressure on Luck.
Turbin flanking Luck on 3rd and 21. Underneath, this is Turbin, the former 4th-round pick of Seattle. Able to get inside Tennessee territory. And very close to that first down. That's about 20 of the 21 yards. And now it's under 3 minutes left. Looks like they'll send out their punter.
Yeah, there's Turbin right there. He set up in protection and then leaped through. That's why he was so open, and there's a lot of running room. Once you get behind that defensive line, nearly got the first down.
Salmon, do you give it any thought? We know they're going to punt here.
I think if you're going to fake a punt and go for it, this would be a good opportunity to do it. Perfect field position.
Now keep in mind, Pagano knows they will have the football to begin the second half, so they will punt. McAfee trying to pin him inside the 10. This one will take an Indianapolis bounce, and they could not hang on to it. Matthias Farley had it. We'll see where his feet were. It would have been awfully close. 50-yard punt.
He drops it. He's there's 1 foot on the line right there. Then he drops it on the goal line.
Would have been a touchback nonetheless. So Mariota and company will have it from the 20. It has been an offensive struggle for Tennessee after that very impressive drive that they had to start the game. Haven't been good right here on first down, and that continues. Mariota dumped for the sack. Eric Walden, who played his collegiate football in this state at Middle Tennessee State, able to get to Mariota. Reminder to keep it here. The Verizon Halftime Report comes your way next. JB, Tony, Bart Boomer, and Coach Cowher standing by in New York. All the latest scores and highlights, plus a preview of Thursday Night Football on NFL Network on the Verizon Halftime Report. This makes matters a little bit more difficult for the Titans. 2 of their starters, Quentin Spain and Parrish Cox, both carted off. We saw Cox in the protocol. His status uncertain. That pass from Mariota finds Delaney Walker close to the 25, a pickup of 9, and now Tennessee will burn a timeout with a big decision coming up here on 3rd and 5. Actually, the Colts, I beg your pardon, calling the timeout. Salman, what have you seen from Mariota?
Well, Mariota got off to a really good start to begin the game. Was 5 for 5 on his first 5 attempts, but since then he's been stone cold. 6 consecutive incompletions, I should say, by Marcus Mariota, and then Eric Walden spikes him there to get the sack. And so Mariota's got to pick it up, got to get better rhythm within the offense. It's got to be able to hit receivers when they're wide open.
A strange trend that we've seen from Mariota early in his career. He's been a better road quarterback than he has been at home. He's thrown at least 1 pick in all 9 of his career home games so far. Hasn't thrown one yet today, but it's just not been sharp. On 3rd and 5, he goes underneath, finding Murray for the first down. Murray's so lethal when he gets into the flat. 13 yards on the catch and run, and a much-needed first down.
And a really good throw for Mariota. And how about this? Murray was ready for it, got himself turned around to be able to haul that in. I must say, we talked about the inconsistencies and inaccuracies of Mariota, at least here in the second quarter. Typically, he's a very accurate passer. We talked about the arm talent at the beginning of the game.
Here he is out of the shotgun on 1st and 10. That pass dangerously thrown. Intended for Walker. And that's where he struggles. Accuracy, the deeper he throws the football down the field. It'll be 2nd and 10. I'll be the first to know your team's news with the CBS Sports app. Instant updates, expert analysis, highlights, and more. Download the CBS Sports app today. Buck 42 to play. Tennessee with 2 timeouts left. This will be 2nd and 10. Just outside their own 37. Mariota on the run. Completes. That's Kendall Wright. And that is his first catch of the afternoon. Had that big 133-yard performance in the 2-point win here at home over Cleveland last week. It's a pickup of 7, and now Tennessee down to their final timeout.
Yeah, I think, they want to be able to run this 2-minute offense, maybe even go up tempo, but you only can go as fast as what your quarterback will allow you to do. When he was in college, everything came from the sideline. He wasn't used to calling his plays. He's doing that now in this Tennessee Titans offense. You can see he's got those plays on that right wrist, but you only can go as fast as where the learning curve will allow you with a very young quarterback, particularly when he's showing some signs of inaccuracy here in the second quarter.
Titans need points. Keep in mind, Colts will have it to start the second half. One of the biggest plays so far here on 3rd and 3. Mariota up the seam, finding Matthews. First down and more. Inside Colts territory, a pickup of a half dozen.
Now let's see if they can get him into rhythm with some of these quick short passes and even take a shot down the field and play action.
1st and 10. Mariota has time, throwing towards the sideline. Matthews on a comebacker. Rolled to completion, able to get both feet in. A pickup of 9, and able to stop the clock with 70 seconds left before halftime.
Those last 2 passes, you can see he gathered himself very well, and he's just cut it loose. He's trusting what he's seeing out on the perimeter of the field.
Matthews started 2 of his first 3 games of the season and kind of struggled. Was demoted. Andre Johnson starting 3 straight games. And this one initiated from upstairs. They will look to see if Matthews got both feet in bounds, as we are, of course, inside of 2 minutes.
Let's see if he indeed. There's the stick in the hands. 1 foot was down. That right foot was already down. Then the left foot was in.
Catch.
There's the catch. I thought he caught it with the right foot already down. Now it was ruled a catch in the field of play. See, there's the right foot down and then the left foot down.
Best vantage point right there. Excellent work by our camera crew here in Nashville. Call on the field is a completion, so now they need conclusive evidence to overturn.
I thought it was 2. So right foot down, ball's in the hands, and then that left foot was down.
Well, Matthews has come on strong after sputtering for a couple of weeks. 184 yards in his last 3 games, couple of touchdowns, including a touchdown catch last week. Had that incredible diving 43-yard catch. Solomon, they shouldn't have to look at this much longer.
The longer they look at it, maybe they convince themselves that that first foot, that right foot wasn't down, and maybe the ball wasn't in the possession of the receiver. Beauty's in the eye of the beholder. This one can be very subjective.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field is confirmed. A completed catch at the 40-yard line. Second.
So it's a 9-yard completion. Mariota to Matthews. 1 timeout left, a minute 10. This will be a 2nd and 1.
2nd and 1 and plus field position. That means on the plus side of the 50. This is normally when you like to take a shot down the field and try to get the ball deep, but Mariota's been highly inaccurate when throwing the ball 20 yards or further down the field.
The option play to give to Murray. First down on the run, ducking inside the Indianapolis 35, and again 1 timeout left as they let the clock continue to run inside of a minute. Mariota throwing near side of the field, and it is caught. Second catch for Wright, both on this possession, a pickup of 5, and able to stop the clock with 49 seconds left.
Terry Robisky, understanding, has to set up Ryan Suckup, try to get some points on the board before halftime here, but he also has to get his quarterback into rhythm, giving him some of these easy dink and dunk passes out on the perimeter, and Mariota's connecting.
Right now would be around a 47-yard field goal. Suckup this season from inside of 49 on 6 of 6. On 2nd and 5, Mariota taking a shot up the far side, incomplete. Boy, Walker trying to make a one-handed catch, and a marker comes in. T.J. Green, the rookie safety out of Clemson. Their second-round pick was there on the coverage.
Ball was intended for Kendall Wright. Looked like he had one hand on it.
Pass interference. Defense, number 29. Spot the foul, automatic first down.
I think he meant T.J. Green, right? Number 32. That's who the foul was on. You could see it was Delaney Walker who was the intended receiver. Green made contact well before the ball arrived.
Green, the kid who left their game briefly last week and then came back with that knee. So 1st and goal after the penalty. This is Murray. The last gasp gets him a little bit closer to the end zone, and now Tennessee will burn its final timeout. Antonio Morrison, the rookie out of Florida, 4th-round pick, on the tackle. Another reminder, Verizon Halftime Report comes your way next. JB and the fellas standing by in New York. Highlights as they'll update you on Week 7, plus a preview of Thursday Night Football on NFL Network, all next on the Verizon Halftime Report. So now, Salman, you're out of timeouts. Still plenty of time. What do you do here for your malarkey?
You want to throw it into the end zone. Remember, if you try to run it here and you don't get in, you don't have any timeout, so you're going to have to get back up and try to spike the ball in order to stop it to bring out the field goal team.
That flag on Green turns out to be a 32-yard penalty. What happens here on the 11th play of the drive? 2nd and goal. Give to Murray. Boy, he looked like he had him, and the football comes loose. And now they signal touchdown Tennessee. Wild sequence.
Looked like he was able to reach that ball out over the goal line, and then they swatted the ball loose and it came out, which did resemble a fumble, but not until he was able to extend that ball beyond the goal line. Once you break the plane, it has to be a touchdown. Gutsy play call by Mike Mularkey.
The rule on the field is that the ball carrier broke the plane with the football for a touchdown.
39th career rushing touchdown for Murray, and the 5th of the season.
Yeah, it's actually Terry Robisky who's calling the plays, but look at this. It's a run play, and now you see he stopped. There he stretches the ball out, but his knee was yet to be on the ground. Once he breaks the plane of that goal line, it's a touchdown. See, he stopped right there. He'll stick the ball out with one hand on the ground, not considered down there. It was a touchdown. I'm sure when Mularkey got to DeMarco Murray on the sideline, he was like, hey, if you're going to do that, be sure to protect the football, but that's going to be a touchdown.
Salman, what a hit by Clayton Geathers, the 2nd-year kid out of Central Florida, former 4th-round pick. This kid can play. As he closed quickly, but just got there a hair late as he got to DeMarco Murray. And boy, what a drive by Mariota, aided by the penalty against T.J. Green. Turned out to be a 32-yard penalty, as they go 80 yards in 11 plays, and this is a brand new game with 34 seconds left in the half.
Think about it. It's 2nd down, and you call this run play to DeMarco Murray. If he doesn't get in here, Spiro, that means you're really going to have to just settle for a field goal. Because if he don't get in there, the clock is still running. You're out of timeouts. You're going to have to use 3rd down to down the ball and stop the clock just to get the field goal team out there. And it's going to be really close in getting that done with about 30 seconds to go.
Now, Terry Robisky's been an offensive coach in this league a long time. First season as Tennessee's offensive coordinator.
He's up there somewhere, right?
Got 8 years as an offensive assistant in Atlanta. Came over here in the offseason. Former offensive coordinator in Cleveland. And back in the late 80s, early 90s in Oakland.
Murray said he was very familiar with the scheme that Malarkey and Terry Robisky wanted to run, that zone scheme. Allows him to get running downhill, keep his shoulder square to the line of scrimmage. And he's a powerful back who can make plays when you allow him to tack coming downhill.
Again, you can't overstate the importance of that score, considering the fact that the Colts will have it to begin the second half. Indianapolis with 2 timeouts left, 34 seconds to play. As Andrew Luck comes back onto the field. Solomon, you take a shot here, or you just sit on it, take this 4-point lead into the locker room?
I go ahead and say, you know, typically what happens is quarterback look at the defense, but they're going to take a knee here, regroup, gather themselves, and get ready for a fight in the second half.
Well, Tennessee hasn't won 3 straight games since early in 2011. This long losing streak against Indianapolis at 9 games. Andrew Luck and the Colts ravaged by injuries. What a gritty first half performance by Indy as they take a 4-point lead into the halftime locker room. Andrew Luck throwing for 210, couple of touchdowns, and Mariota just under 100 yards and 1 score in a 4-point game. 17-13 in Nashville. We'll be back with the Verizon halftime report after this. You're watching the NFL on CBS. By McDonald's, one of the key plays of the first half. Play action from Luck. As good a throw as you'll see, 37 yards on a touchdown toss to T.Y. Hilton, as Indianapolis would build on its lead. We welcome you back to Nissan Stadium. Spiro Dita, Solomon Wilcots with you. This is a critical battle in this division. We know about Indianapolis, all the injuries. Tennessee has won multiple games in a row for the first time in about 3 years, but struggled for most of that first half.
Yeah, but both teams really did get off to very good starts, and both quarterbacks did. They both scored on their first possessions of the game, but then both quarterbacks started to show that they were a little bit erratic. Marcus Mariota missed some easy open throws that could have resulted into touchdowns. Same for Andrew Luck. Hadn't always been very accurate throwing the ball. Missed on some easy throws as well. And hopefully here in the second half, both quarterbacks can settle down and begin to take advantage of what the defense is giving them, because they're leaving plays on the field.
We don't want to beat a dead horse, but it's been a long, long time since Tennessee defeated the Colts, their divisional foe. 9 straight defeats. They've dropped 14 of the last 15 meetings. Haven't beaten the Colts since week 8 of 2011. Colts will have it to start, and they will begin at their own 25. Let's take you back to some of the key highlights in that first half.
Oh, we talked about Mariota coming out red hot. Tackle eligible, touchdown to Taylor Lewan. But then Brett Kern, he dropped the snap, couldn't get it down. They couldn't execute the extra point. And then how about Andrew Luck going up top to T.Y. Hilton to get on the scoreboard, and DeMarco Murray finished off the scoring at the end of the first half with that touchdown. That's where we stand, 17-13 Colts.
Now, Lewan has been a stud tackle, anchor of their offensive line. First career touchdown catch as we begin the second half. Luck goes through his reads over the middle, and that is Chester Rogers, the rookie, making his second straight start. A pickup of 9. Solomon, what about some adjustments in the second half?
As you can see, Rogers was able to make that catch, and that's exactly what you need in the second half of this ball game for the Indianapolis Colts. They dropped 3 passes from Luck in the first half, so they have to find a cure for those drops. And if you're Tennessee, it's easy. Put double coverage on T.Y. Hilton. He's killing you. Nearly 100 yards receiving in the first half.
Colts keep it on the ground, and that'll be a first down run from Gore. You know, coming in, you knew, Solomon, that Indianapolis was without 3 of its top 4 receiving targets. Moncrief, of course, has been out a long time, but no Dwayne Allen. And as you said, T.Y. Hilton, the only proven receiver that Andrew Luck has at his disposal today. But despite that, Titans just have not been able to slow him down, at least not until this point. Hilton, 4 catches, 90 yards, and that long touchdown. Luck from under center. They're drawing the pass rush and it goes underneath to Gore. Nicely done by Luck as Gore runs out of bounds at around the 43. It's a pickup of 6. First half possessions for Indianapolis.
You can see touchdowns on 2 of the first 3. They had to settle for a field goal, but that was the possession where T.Y. Hilton was wide open and Luck just couldn't hit him. They had to settle for the field goal, and then you see the last 2 possessions, a punt, and then they ran out of time at the end of the first half.
No Dwayne Allen, ankle injury. Philip Dorsett on the shelf with the hamstring. They had to put Quan Bray on IR this week with an ankle injury. As the hits just keep on coming. Of course, their best offensive lineman, Jack Mewhort, was a scratch, out with that triceps injury. All things considered, this has been a very gritty Colts team till this point.
Oh, they've been able to get the lead in this game. I think that's very important. Whenever you're playing against a team that's very run-heavy like the Tennessee Titans, you want to take them out of that run offense and force them to play from behind. Now in this critical third down play, either you run it or you've got to get the ball to your playmaker, T.Y. Hilton.
Rookie running back Josh Ferguson onto the field for the first time. Split out top of your picture on 3rd and short. That pass incomplete. Intended for Devin Street, who was making his Colts debut with all the injuries.
And we told you 3 drops in the first half. This is the 4th one of the game by this group of receivers for the Indianapolis Colts. That was Devin Street putting one on the ground.
Street was signed off of New England's practice squad on September the 21st after Dante Moncrief went down with that shoulder injury. He had been inactive his first 4 games with the Colts until today. So here's McAfee to punt. Mariani will watch that one bounce to the back of the end zone. So Mariota will have it from the 20 when we come back. Tennessee Titans partnered with the United Way and spent the day at Napier Elementary School as part of the NFL's Hometown Huddle event. 60 students took part with Titans players, including Jarrell Casey and Delaney Walker, all to promote physical fitness and activities as part of the league's Great Play 60 initiative. I'm sure a lot of those youngsters are tuned in, rooting on their hometown team today. Titans down 4, first possession of the second half. As we revisit Tennessee's opening half possessions.
Oh, they came out on fire. That opening drive, 10 plays, 78 yards and a touchdown. But the next 3 drives, they went into hibernation before scoring on the final drive of the first half.
See Malarkey and company, Terry Rubisky starting to pick up the pace. This is where Mariota has been at his best. Those quick snaps as Murray runs for 6 and a first down.
But as you can see, they begin the second half going back to the staple running game, featuring DeMarco Murray coming downhill, hammering away at this defense of the Indianapolis Colts. If you can create easy first downs for Marcus Mariota, 3rd and short, then everything plays off of it. Play action pass and the read option.
Sharp interviews in motion, 1st and 10. The run play called. Murray trying to bounce outside and cut back. A minimal pickup. It's such a different offense, Solomon, than the one that Mariota played in last year as a rookie when he, of course, showed signs of brilliance as a first-year player, struggled at other times. But to have this kind of offensive line and run game with Murray, it's a completely different experience.
Yeah, it creates what I think are easy reads in the passing game. When you can come off that play action look, you look to see if the deep receiver is open, and then you got to connect on it. He missed on one earlier to Rashad Matthews.
Play clock down to 2. Mariota looks quickly, pump fakes. On 2nd and 7. Underneath, this is Matthews, forced out of bounds right around the 37-yard line. And another 3rd down coming up. Vontae Davis, who has been the Colts' best defensive back, was right there.
Mariota looked a little confused on that one. It looked like he was ready to throw it over there immediately. He forgot it was a 3-step drop, so he was ready to throw it. The receivers weren't ready, but the protection held up. And then on the second opportunity, He went ahead and fired the ball accurately and was able to get the completion. Now let's see what they do. 3rd and 5. Remember, he's in that shotgun look, so this is clearly a pass opportunity.
So right there, Tennessee has been good on this range on 3rd down. 3rd and 5, Mariota fires. A little bit too high and incomplete. Intended for Matthews. Patrick Robinson was there on the coverage.
He's struggling on these throws again. Look, this ball's high. It's high and way too high for Matthews to come down. If he puts it on the receiver, it's going to be a catch for yet another 1st down. Mariota's really struggling with his accuracy today.
62% completion percentage for Mariota on the season. But Solomon has pointed out he has missed a couple of throws so far in this game. Kern again masterful in these directional punts fielded by Rodgers. Like he had a heel in the end zone. And then comes down kind of pulling at his left hamstring. 62 yards on the punt, 10 on the return, as we'll see Luck.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. Charles Schwab. And by Toyota. Let's go places.
I've been thinking about a Halloween outfit.
There you go.
Could be a good idea for us. 1st and 10. Colts just outside their own 10. Luck keeps it on the ground. This is Gore. And so I'm going to have to ask you, kind of an interesting decision by Chester Rogers to field that punt with just about almost inside his own end zone.
You just don't make this catch. I've never seen someone field a punt so deep in and around the goal line. You let that one go. It's going to bounce into the end zone and clearly go out. You have yourself the ball at the 20-yard line.
Well, he is a rookie. Expect those kind of mental errors. In a Grambling State making only his 2nd career start. This is Gore again. Told you earlier, gave the Colts their first 100-yard rushing game last week since December 16th, 2012. A span of 60 games since Vic Ballard had done it. And now big 3rd down and 2 coming up.
Well, Jack Doyle has been a real good option also in this offense in the absence of Dwayne Allen. Doyle has been a good option, and he can get open at his tight end position if you're going to double cover a receiver T.Y. Hilton.
Doyle lines up at his tight end spot, right side of the line. Luck fakes the handoff, going to run for it, and he has it. Little trickery from Luck had the Titans fooled. A pickup of 3 and just enough to move the chains.
Norris Searcy, he's the end man on the line of scrimmage. He's got to be there. And Luck fooled him. Luck pulled it away from Gore, kept it himself. And that's where Luck, he's got above average talent for a quarterback when you talk about just the all-around athlete that he is. Big, strong, he's got quickness and enough speed to beat you on that read option.
Just past the 8-minute mark, 3rd quarter, 1st and 10. Luck over the middle, caught. That's Doyle. Out past the 40. Nice ball from Luck that time, a pickup of 18 and another 1st down.
That's Doyle matched up against the linebacker, Avery Williamson, number 54. He's able to get across the face. You can see Williamson, he slipped and fell down, and Doyle was able to come open. Andrew Luck wasted no time in finding him.
Doyle had the 22-yard touchdown catch in the loss in Houston last week. And the former Titan began his career here as an undrafted rookie back in 2013. On 1st and 10, Luck's going to throw again and completes. That's Hilton on a comebacker. A pickup of 20 as they're inside Tennessee territory.
Bryce McCain's going to have help over the top. Hilton snaps it off. That's why it's the back shoulder fade. Luck red coverage coming over the top. And he says, look, if the cornerback's trying to play over the top, then I'm just going to dump it off underneath. Both receiver Hilton and quarterback were on the same page.
Hilton over the 100-yard mark. He's been feast or famine this season. Last week only 3 catches, but he's had 2 games this year where he's eclipsed 170 yards receiving. First and 10 from the Tennessee 38. Luck goes through his progressions. That pass incomplete. Intended for the tight end Eric Swope. Thursday on CBS, The Big Bang Theory moves to its new night, leading a parade of premieres. It starts with the new comedy The Great Indoors, followed by Mom and Life in Pieces. It's comedy's big night, Thursday, only CBS. Here's Dick LeBeau, legend in his 58th year in the NFL as a player or coach. An unparalleled career by the defensive legend. 7th play of the drive. Luck on 2nd and 10. Under pressure, showing his strength and through the hands of Hilton.
Personal foul, roughing the passer. Defense, number 90, with a late hit on the standing quarterback. 15-yard penalty, automatic. First down.
Daquan Jones, a massive penalty against the Titans.
Oh, the pocket just collapses. Pressure comes in. He steps up right there. You can see the pressure. And there's the low hit at the legs of Luck. And there's yet another drop, the 5th of the game by the Indianapolis Colts receiver.
Salmon, enough there for the penalty?
No, because it wasn't as low as I thought. I thought there was a bump. Could have been much worse. I don't think it was anything malicious there. It was a late bump after he got rid of the ball, but he did not go low.
And nonetheless, it is another critical penalty against LeBeau's defense. First and 10. Luck to the airs again. That's Hilton. 21st career game of over 100 yards. That time working against Valentino Blake. 11 yards and a first down.
Well, if you're Dick LeBeau, I'm sure you want to give these cornerbacks some help on T.Y. Hilton. But they're still finding a way. Look at this is a zone play. Both defenders are closing in quick, but just easy, quick throw for Andrew Luck to be able to complete that pass, even though 2 defenders were converging as the ball was released.
Keep in mind, Parrish Cox, one of LeBeau's starting corners, still in the concussion protocol, left his game in the first half. Pitch play to Gore, trying to find the edge, cuts back, and is run out of bounds shy of the 11. Damian Stafford. As now Gore jaws at that defense. There was Stafford credited with the tackle.
Well, as you talk to the coaches with the Tennessee Titans, you know, they're impressed with their team and 3-3 start, but they expect more. They keep saying, hey, you know, this is just the beginning. We're still evolving. We're still growing. And you watch this game, you take a look at Dick LeBeau, you think the missing pieces on this defense has to be at the cornerback position. They don't have the true shutdown corner that you can match up with the top receivers around the NFL.
On 2nd and 9, Luck faking to Gore. Buying time, throws on the run, and finds Doyle. That is a completion, but a minimal pickup of only 3. As Doyle with his 5th catch.
Doyle was able to make catches against these linebackers. We showed you him getting open against Avery Williamson. That time matched up against Sean Spence. He was able to win, keeping drive alive for Luck. You can see the distribution. The wide receivers 14, but the tight ends, they've got double-digit receptions as well.
Luck on 3rd and 7, sacked. Carl Klug getting there for Tennessee. 2nd time they get to Luck this afternoon.
Well, Jarrell Casey, 99. He initially provides pressure, and then he tries to escape. There you can see Klug is able to clog up the middle. Luck tries to climb the pocket. Actually, it was Brian Orakpo, 98, who provided the initial pressure. Klug on the cleanup.
And now Vinatieri to attempt the NFL record for consecutive makes on field goals, and he's got it. He passes Mike Vanderjagt with his 43rd consecutive make. An incredible career for Vinatieri continues. Indianapolis up 7 on CBS. Well, almost indisputable at this point that Adam Vinatieri is the greatest kicker in the history of the sport. Passes Mike Vanderjagt with his 43rd straight field goal made, an all-time NFL record. Vanderjagt, another former Colts kicker, was with Indy between 02 and 04. As Tennessee will have it from the 25 when we come back.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by State Farm. Talk to an agent today at 800-STATE-FARM. And by National Mortgage Lender Quicken Loans. Home buy, refi, power.
Well, just some of the great players that have battled over the years between these two franchises. Mariota back onto the field, 1st and 10. That pass is caught. Delaney Walker will pick up around 9. As we now move under 4 minutes left, and the Titans now, Solomon, down 7. And again, a massively important game, especially for Tennessee in this division.
And no reason to abandon the run game with DeMarco Murray. Clearly wanting to remain balanced, but Mariota has to connect on throws like what you just saw. Quick variety, he's got to be able to hit the open receiver.
4th catch of the day for Walker. On 2nd and short, to give to Murray. Dances right through the Indy defense. Brought down at the 45. It's a pickup of 11. Finally brought down by DeQuell Jackson, as now Murray over the century mark.
That zone trap coming back. He cuts it all the way back. Get the defense flowing one way. He cuts it back to the other side. And this is why you don't want to get away from DeMarco Murray. That run right there took him over 100 yards rushing on the day.
3rd time he's done it, 2nd most in the NFL, 23rd time he's broken 100 yards in his career. Play action from Mariota, and he is leveled. Akeem Ayers, 2nd time they've gotten to Mariota.
It's the first time Jack Conklin, the right tackle, has given up a sack all season long. There he is right there. Now that's actually going to be Kelly. Dennis Kelly in for Conklin over on the right side. Conklin is in there, and Luan, both tackles have not given up a sack all season long. That was Dennis Kelly who allowed the sack.
There's the former Titan, able to get in for the defensive gem, and that Mariota pass is intercepted. Patrick Robinson inside the Tennessee 30, 23 yards on the return. Injured Titan player, as there is a flag at around the 40-yard line. Injured Titan is Delaney Walker, who has been such a key cog in this offense.
Before the interception, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, defense, number 57. 15 yards from the previous spot, 1st down.
So the interception negated. Josh McNary, the 3rd-year linebacker out of Army. And what a big call that is to reverse things in this game. Walker, meantime, will walk off on his own power, so more good news for Tennessee.
There's going to be Delaney Walker. Watch him. He's going to be hit more than 5 yards down the field. Watch how he pivots out, and here is the hit right here on a defenseless player. There was no intent to play the ball. The ball was still in the air. You could see it on the right side of the screen. Coming right here. Wow. Just leveled Delaney Walker.
And Solomon just didn't need it. The football was not going there from Mariota. And that is just a monumental mistake on the part of McNary. Joined the Colts, undrafted out of Army. Was on the practice squad for a couple of years and finally getting a chance as a frontline starter for Pagano. Now more flags fly.
64. Before the snap, false start. Offense number 64. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
That's Josh Klein, their fourth-year man out of Kent State, who's been a starter since week 3 after Chance Warmack went down with an injury. And Klein's their starter rest of the way. Warmack put on IR.
You know, the Colts, we talk about them squandering that 14-point lead last Sunday night in Houston. And now they have a chance to put the Titans away here on the road. They get the big play from Patrick Robinson on the interception, but the unnecessary roughness wipes it out. And they allow the Titans to hang in.
First and 15 after the penalty. That play just looked all kinds of bad. Murray, the intended receiver, as he stumbles to the turf. And now second and 15 with $1:50 left in the quarter.
This is going to be set up as a screen for DeMarco Murray. But look, he's going to get hit. He's trying to escape through the traffic, and you see McGill, he lays into Murray. He sensed it was going to be some kind of running back trying to sneak out into the flat or come out to make a catch. And McGill did the right thing. You got to hammer that runner. Don't allow him to come out of the backfield unclean.
Delaney Walker, you saw back in the game after being tended to by the trainers. He's the man in motion on second and 15. Mariota, as time throws up the seam, batted down and incomplete. Tight coverage on the play by Clayton Geathers, the safety. It was intended for Anthony Fasano.
Mariota took a shot on this play. Geathers was able to make a play on the ball. McGill was able to make a play on Mariota. And there you see the throw, just a tad bit late, but Clayton Geathers was able to knife underneath it and be able to prevent the reception. Third and 15 starts with protection for Mariota. He has not been accurate throwing the ball.
Derrick Henry on the field, third and 15. Need the 40, and he finds Tajay Sharp. 16 yards. What a pass by Mariota as they move the chains.
It was a really nice frozen rope out on the boundary in front of Vontae Davis to the rookie Tajay Sharp. It's just a really good throw. They needed it on that third down play. Good throw, good catch.
Still a long way to go, but if Tennessee wins this game, you can point to that. It was one of the bigger throws that Mariota made in this game. DeMarco Murray trying to find the edge inside the 40. A penalty against Josh McNary certainly looming large, negating what would have been a Patrick Robinson interception as that clock continues to run now. 60 seconds left in the quarter.
And that was a third and 15 play. That pass was completed from Mariota to Tajay Sharp for 16 yards. So just enough to get the first down, and now they get DeMarco Murray going. His offense appears to be back in rhythm.
Second and 9. Pass incomplete. And a late flag comes in from the secondary. Fasano again the intended receiver. DeQuell Jackson was there covering.
Pass interference. Defense number 52. Spot of the foul. Automatic first down.
The penalties are flying against the Colts here in this third quarter. But there you can see, yeah, the hands were all over Anthony Fasano. Jackson got there real soon, and see, when you hook that back shoulder, you can have a hand on the intended receiver before the ball arrives, but you're not allowed to hook and turn them as the ball approaches.
What a player Jackson's been in his career, coming over from Cleveland in free agency in 2014. Mariota bobbles the snap as Tennessee averting disaster. That'll be a big loss of 10. Robert Mathis was right there.
Oh, he just didn't handle the ball cleanly. That's on Mariota's got to handle that ball cleanly. Good thing he was able to fall on it.
So Mariota and company will run out the remaining seconds. And we are looking at an interesting final quarter coming up. 20-13 Colts. You're watching the NFL on CBS. So good at protecting leads his first 3+ seasons, but it's been an issue, Solomon. And of course, the blown lead in Houston last Sunday night.
And you can see he's trying to rally his guys here in the fourth quarter.
His defense, this embattled unit that has really struggled. He's had one of the better performances of the season, but can they hold off the Titans? That pass from Mariota batted down at the line of scrimmage. And it will be 3rd and long coming up. How impressed have you been with Pagano's defense, this maligned unit, Sam, and all the issues that they've had?
Well, they're able to get off the field on 3rd down. They're starting to make plays. Now they've been gashed in the run game where DeMarco Murray's over 100 yards rushing, but timely plays like this by DeQuell Jackson able to back down that pass. If they can just avoid those critical penalties, they can get off the field here in this crucial 3rd down situation.
So Ted Monachino, first year as the Colts defensive coordinator. 10th play of the drive that began at their own 25. 3rd and 19. Mariota over the middle. It is caught. Matthews. And that second effort will get the Titans the first down. It's a pickup of 20.
Well, he's matched up in the middle of the field. This is a play for DeQuell Jackson's got to make this tackle. Yards after contact. Rashard Matthews able to pick up that first down. Good throw for Marcus Mariota. He was well protected, delivered that dagger to Matthews, who's able to break the tackle.
Well, DeQuell Jackson's a stand-up guy. He'll be the first to tell you that is on him. He's got to bring Matthews down. And another missed play by this Indy defense. First down pass for Mariota, incomplete, and a late flag. Boy, Fasano drawing flags all over the place. Geathers on the coverage.
Pass interference. Defense, number 26. Spot of the foul, automatic first down.
It's on Clayton Gaither. See, he's holding, he's pushing Fasano out of bounds. He wasn't necessarily playing the ball, and he was well beyond 5 yards down the field, where the rule states that you cannot jam the intended receiver, use your hands to grab, hold, or to prohibit him from getting down the field once he's 5 yards away from the line of scrimmage.
3rd pass interference penalty against Pagano's defense. Titans trying to tie this game early stages of the 4th. 1st and goal. Murray inside the 5. Finally brought down by McNary. A pickup of 5. Murray now 22 carries for 109 yards and a touchdown.
And the Titans not only eating time off the clock on this drive, but wearing down this Indianapolis Colts defense and keeping Andrew Luck on the sideline. Now inside the 5-yard line, quarterback under center. They expect a heavy run play or some kind of play action.
2 for 2 on red zone trips today. 2nd and goal. Murray going backwards. Excellent push by Indy's offense up front. That's Art Jones playing his 2nd game since missing all of last season with that broken ankle.
There's Jones there, number 97. I think they picked up on the tendency. They see Mariota under center. They know it's going to be heavy run play. And if you're the defensive line, you've got to come knifing into those gaps. But the coverage on the back end have to be very disciplined and not allow for play action to slip one of these receivers behind them. On the shotgun, it's normally a pass play or read option.
Matthews in motion on 3rd and goal. Mariota going end zone, finding Walker for the Titans touchdown.
Watch the linebacker. They ought to be able to see this. He's coming inside. He's going to get right inside the linebacker here for an easy touchdown. Josh McNary got beat on the throw. And the route was run by Delaney Walker. Really good play.
Third touchdown catch for Walker on the season, who broke franchise records as a tight end last year for catches and yards. So on that drive, Tennessee converted on a 3rd and 15 and a 3rd and 19 as Mariota finds Walker in the back of the end zone. Tennessee tying it at 20 on CBS. Second half possessions for Mike Mularkey's Titans. And that defensive sequence drive, Salmon, for the Colts. 2 penalties and some badly missed tackles all over the field.
Yeah, wasted opportunities for the Colts to put this Titans team away.
Kick to the back of the end zone. Luck will have it from the 25 when we come back. All tied at 20. Better than 69,000, raising the volume here in Nashville. Luck and the Colts begin from their own 25. That pass is caught. And tight end Jack Doyle, a pickup of 7. Your week starts on Thursday when the Jacksonville Jaguars come to Nashville to take on the Titans. You can see it only on NFL Network. Jim Nance, Phil Simms, Tracy Wolfson. The entire gang will be here on Thursday night. Second and 3. Gore barely able to get to the line of scrimmage. And this is gut check time for the Colts. That bad loss in Houston. Already saw them in 2 games back in the division. Huge final 12 minutes here in Nashville.
On third down play, you got to think T.Y. Hilton, but Jack Doyle has been a thorn in the side of the Tennessee Titans.
Colts 1 of 6 on third down. That's Doyle again, and he does have enough for the Indianapolis first down.
Well, they're doing a really good job of optioning off T.Y. Hilton to the right side. And there's going to be Doyle right there. Whenever he can get matched up against one of these linebackers, in this case Sean Spence, he's been able to win.
Sally, I'm taking you to Vegas. All over, Doyle has been so good. 7th catch for 47 yards, as you see right there. Trying to pick up the slack for the injured Dwayne Allen. First and 10, Luck. Check down to Gore. It's awfully low, the battering ram that Gore is. Pick up a 5. Working awfully hard. Sean Spence on a hard collision.
Yeah, this is a collision. Ram on ram. Wow. Frank Gore, one of the tough running backs in this league. Now in his 12th season out of Miami, well over 10,000 career rushing yards. In fact, he's become one of the best, past Jim Brown on the all-time rushing list.
Put it back in week 5, 9th all-time in rushing yards. Where do the Colts go here on 2nd and 5? Here comes a Rakpo. They get to him, and that pass from Luck off target. Trying to locate the rookie, Chester Rogers.
We talked to Andrew Luck about this. Said you have some young receivers, Chester Rogers, Quan Bray, Devin Street. There's a lot of uncertainty. He talked about it. He stayed out after practice every single day, just trying to get the timing, understanding how to anticipate players like Rogers coming out of their break. And you can see they've had 5 drop passes by receivers today, and Luck has really struggled to get in lockstep with some of these new targets he's throwing to today.
3rd and 5. Luck's pass batted down and incomplete. It appeared to be Klug who got a hand on it. And Tennessee's defense, coached by Dick LeBeau, getting off the field.
Oh, Klug does a really good job of clogging up the passing lane by Luck.
Flood, the former 5th-round pick out of Iowa, doesn't have big numbers, but he has had a big impact for this defense. McAfee, fair catch signaled by Mariani. And this one will take a bounce right around the 20. So decent field position for Mariota, all tied at 20 on CBS.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by T-Mobile. Switch to the network built for unlimited data. United States Air Force. Experience more at airforce.com. And by the all-new Chrysler Pacifica, imported from Detroit.
Titans down by as many as 11. Down 7 at the start of this 4th quarter. Now all tied at 20. As we take a look at what Mariota has done. The clock continues to run. 9:25 remaining.
Settled down here in the second half. Been much better. He's able to engineer that 13-play, 75-yard drive here in the 4th quarter and looking for more.
Second and 10. Mariota goes underneath. This is Murray. And the tackle made by Robinson and Edwin Jackson. And now 3rd and 6 coming up.
Well, if you're the coach, you know what the Tennessee Titans want to do. They want to pound the run game with DeMarco Murray. I think you've got to be able to key in when Mariota is under center or when he's in the shotgun. We know in the shotgun it's going to be a huge priority on the passing game.
See the average yards to go here. 3rd and 6. From just inside the 24. Mariota off the seam. 1st down and more. Walker finding daylight. Finally pushed out of bounds by Vontae Davis. 26 yards. An enormous 1st down.
Leighton Gathers initially in coverage right there. See, he thought at least, Gathers did, that he had help on the outside when Walker broke away from him. But he had no one to help him on that outside route, and Walker was able to catch it for a huge gain on the catch and run.
Had only 1 catch last week against Cleveland. Today back to his usual form. 6 catches, 70 yards, including the touchdown. Right around the 50, Mariota on 1st and 10. Putting some air under it. That pass with a very tight coverage and a late flag. Sharp covered by Davis. We have seen 3 interference penalties on the Colts. Make it 4.
Defense, number 32. Spiral foul, automatic. 1st down.
And that is the 2nd on their rookie safety, TJ Green.
Well, that had nothing to do with this coverage because that's great coverage by Vontae Davis. Had to be away from the ball on TJ Green.
Chuck Pagano still asking for an explanation. Yeah, these defensive penalties looming awfully large. 1st and 10 with under 8 minutes left. Murray kind of lunging close to the 33. We send you to New York and an update with JB.
Washington looking for 5 straight.
Yeah, you look at Kirk Cousins going to fake this handoff, design quarterback run. He takes it the rest of the way for the touchdown. 29 of 36, 299 yards. Plus that touchdown on the ground. He's having himself a day. 17-13. Washington looking for their 5th straight win.
Spiro, Solomon would have come from the other side of the field to make the tackle. My goodness.
You tell him, JB, every single time.
2nd and 8 here. All tied at 20 as we move under 7 minutes remaining. Play action for Mariota. Little shovel pass ahead. That's Murray. Or down at around the 30. And that'll set the stage for another big 3rd down coming up.
Critical penalties on the Indianapolis Colts have aided this Tennessee Titans comeback. Even on this drive, Mariota's started to settle down. He's making some really good throws. His tight end Delaney Walker's making some plays for him, and Mike Mularkey's love the way this young team is growing up and developing, trying to break a 9-game losing streak against these Indianapolis Colts.
Mularkey taking over, first full season here after the franchise fired Ken Wisenhunt last November. Mariota hit on the throw that sputters out of his hands, boy, was caught and nearly intercepted off the hands of Kendall Wright, the intended receiver. It was T.J. Green, and Mariota takes another shot.
That's why this ball went floating up in the air. And you see the hit right there on Mariota, and this ball, I thought it was going to be intercepted. Kendall Wright did a really good job of contesting for that ball in the air.
One banging around like a pinball as Ryan Suckup comes on to attempt a 48-yarder. And a lead for Tennessee. It's been 23 straight inside the 50. This one on target, and it is good. So the streak continues for Suckup, and Tennessee, back from 11 down, moves back in front.
Tennessee. Lord, I've really been real stressed, down and out, losing ground.
Oh, what a turn of events. That pass interference call that really appeared to be a phantom call on Vontae Davis. It was called on T.J. Green, who was not even on the field. We'll show you in just a moment. First, the kick here as Suckup on a 48-yarder puts Tennessee back in front. So many critical defensive penalties on both sides in this game. And Suckup's kick goes back through the end zone. Salman, take us back to that PI call on Indianapolis.
Now this, I believe, is great coverage by Vontae Davis there, matched up against Tajay Sharp. See, there it is right there. Maybe that's a pass interference, but here comes the flag. They called it on 32, T.J. Green, and look, he's right there. T.J. Green's on the sideline. He wasn't even on the field.
On the kickoff.
So
Offside.
that was very confusing.
Kicking team, number 45. The 5-yard penalty will be assessed from the dead ball spot. First down.
It's on Fowler. And so they will mark it now at the Indianapolis 30. And now the Colts, after what happened last Sunday night, blowing an 11-point lead in this game. Where are they psychologically, and do they have something left? All the injuries. Down 3 with 6 to play in the fourth. Luck's pass deflected in the air and caught. Jack Doyle inside Tennessee territory. It's a 24-yard pass play off the hand of Woodyard right there.
Woodyard got underneath it, nearly intercepted it, but Doyle stayed with it, was able to come down with it, even though he was banged around.
8th catch for Doyle, who's now over 70 yards receiving. First down pass from Luck, incomplete. Well, that'll get your receiver hurt in a bad way. Devin Street was making his Colts debut, and he is still down.
This is a hit by Rashad Johnson on Street. Now, that wasn't a hit to the head, neck, or shoulder area, so it was right in that strike zone. As he's going for the ball right there, there's the hit. He turned the head away from contact and did not lead with the crown of the helmet.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by FedEx, helping small businesses simplify e-commerce. And by Subway. Try the new thick-cut autumn carb turkey sandwich.
Andrew Luck's 16 career game-winning drives, as we showed you earlier, 3 of them have come against the Titans, more than any other team that he's faced in the NFL. 2nd and 10. The pass is caught. This is T.Y. Hilton going to get out of bounds. First down and more. It's a pickup of a dozen as Hilton is up over 120 yards receiving. Reminder to stay tuned for the NFL Today update. Time permitting, join JB, Tony, Bart Boomer, and Coach Cower, who are standing by in New York. We'll get you caught up around the NFL here in Week 7. Now some critical play calling here for Rob Chudzinski and Indianapolis. See Hilton in the slot, 1st and 10. Play action from Luck. Gonna run it inside the 30. And takes an awkward looking slide, we'll call it. Inside the 25, a pickup of 9.
If you're going to play man coverage and the defenders downfield turn their backs to Andrew Luck and everyone's covered, he's going to do this. Set sail and take off running, try to create a first down. He was just 1 yard shy of picking up one there.
Quick snap, hands off to Gore, and that is enough for an Indianapolis first down. With NFL Game Pass, replay the games you missed with condensed games in 45 minutes or the full broadcast version. Get the new midseason offer today, NFL.com/Game Pass.
And that botched extra point in the first quarter comes back to kind of haunt the Tennessee Titans here. The Colts would need a touchdown in this situation as opposed to a field goal to tie it up.
Well within the range of Vinatieri. First down pass caught. Hilton on the run and he'll score. Touchdown Colts. And now flag comes in at the end of the play. It's way back at the 26.
Offense.
My goodness.
Number 80 and 23 did not get set prior to the snap. 5-yard penalty. Replay, first down.
They weren't set. They tried to go quick count to catch this defense off balance. Now let's see if all the white jerseys get set. Everyone's set there. This is just a no. It was a half motion. But if you're Frank Gore, you have to be headed toward the sideline. You get the shoulders parallel to the line of scrimmage and you're moving, that's going to be illegal motion.
10 penalties, totaling 121 yards for Indianapolis. 1st and 15, that pass incomplete, and there's the flag. Jack Doyle, the intended receiver.
Pass interference. Defense, number 59. Spiral the foul. Automatic first down.
That's the 9th-year linebacker, Wesley Woodyard.
There's Wesley Woodyard right there, grabbing the jersey of Jack Doyle. Doyle has been, we said, a thorn in the side of these linebackers. There you can see him grabbing that jersey. Doyle has 8 catches. With Dwayne Allen out of today's game, he is filled in greatly.
Spiro Dita, Solomon Wilcox, rest of our CBS crew. Nissan Stadium in Nashville. Just a monumentally important midseason game in the AFC South. Luck on first down, up the seam, incomplete. Trying to locate Eric Swope, the tight end. Coverage on the play by Kevin Byard, a rookie out of Middle Tennessee State, and Rashad Johnson.
Byard comes in on Swope. Look at the collision. Now that's excellent timing. That's how you avoid drawing the flag but still have tight coverage, creating a collision to separate the intended receiver from the ball.
Saw Chuck Pagano. Colts have finished in the top 2 in the AFC South every season since it took over in 2012. Currently find themselves in the basement. 2nd and 10. Luck underneath. Gore breaks 1 tackle, but they keep coming. Angelo Blackson on the tackle.
This was a designed screenplay all the way for Frank Gore. Trying to slip clean, but you could see they were right there on top of it. Stafford right there. He was responsible for Gore, and he was right there on it. Now, if you are the Tennessee Titans, we know that T.Y. Hilton, 133 yards receiving, but Jack Doyle in these situations has been able to make a play for his quarterback, Andrew Luck.
Third and 13. Luck eluding a sack. Finds his man. It's Devin Street. Inside the 10. It'll be 1st and goal, Indianapolis. And now a late flag again at the end of the play.
Delay of game. Offense, number 81. For spiking the ball in the field of play. This foul was after the first down was achieved. After the penalty, it'll still be 1st and 10.
Yeah, Chuck Pagano said you got to use your head. He got up and he spiked the ball. He was just being excited about having made that play, but when he spiked it, that's going to be a delay of game. Just give the ball back to the official.
Street, 3rd NFL season out of Pittsburgh, again signed off the Patriots practice squad on September the 21st. This is his first catch as a Colt, and so the flag came in. First couple of years in Dallas, inactive for his first 4 games with Indy, but with all the injuries, no Dorsett, no Moncrief, a big needed wide receiver. A 20-yard completion before the penalty. Told you earlier, Colts have beaten the Titans 9 straight times. Colts 2 games back to Houston in the division. And the Titans just 1 game back. Biggest play, or biggest game for this Tennessee franchise, considering where they sit in a very long time.
It's the 5th different starting rotation for Chuck Pagano in this offensive line, but they've done a pretty good job of protecting Andrew Luck today. See if they can protect him here.
First and 10, they need the 3 to move the chains. This is Gore showing some burst inside the 5. Appears to be very close to that first down marker. Clock stops at 2:18. And now timeout taken by Indianapolis. Coming up next, a critical AFC showdown. Tom Brady and the Patriots heading to Pittsburgh to take on Antonio Brown and the Steelers. Of course, no Ben Roethlisberger in that game. You can see it right here on CBS. First down on the run by Gore, as Indianapolis trying to punch it in and retake the lead.
Big play here for Andrew Luck. He's been good today at getting the ball out of his hands in a timely manner. Hasn't forced his offensive line to hold the protection long. So in moments like this, it's really about being able to get some kind of rub or pick on the defender covering T.Y. Hilton. But Jack Doyle has also been big in the offense today, so look for him as well.
See the extent to which the Colts have owned the Titans. First and goal, Gore. Barely picks up positive yardage. As now Tennessee will burn its 2nd timeout. So they'll have 1 left. Of course, the 2-minute warning. And boy, if you're a Colts fan, got a couple of white knucklers. Not only the last couple of weeks on it, but all 7 games that they've played have come down to the final 2 minutes.
You know, as many times as they've come in here and they've been able to beat the Tennessee Titans, even Chuck Pagano and Andrew Luck said it themselves that this is a different Tennessee Titans team. They were expecting this one to go 4 quarters. It's something that Chuck Pagano talked to his team about all week long. We have to be able to close out games, and we have to be able to finish it out in the 4th quarter. Something they were not able to do 1 week ago in Houston.
Jonathan Harrison is ruled as eligible on this play. 2nd and goal. Keep it on the ground. That's Robert Turbin, who is their number 2 running back today behind Frank Gore. That'll take us to the 2-minute warning. Coming down the stretch. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Biggest play of the day so far. Colts down 3. Trying to bang it into the end zone. 3rd and goal. Flags come in from multiple directions.
False start. Offense, number 76. 5-yard penalty. Still third down.
That's Joe Wright's thrust back into the starting lineup, and just inexcusable.
But you've got to snap the ball. If you're Andrew Luck, how long do you expect these guys to be able to hold their water? The crowd noise is going on. It's on a silent count. I think Luck was trying to figure out if he wanted to change the play or not. And sooner or later, those offensive linemen, they're going to get antsy.
12th Colts penalty for 131 yards. 3rd and goal. Luck going end zone, caught. Jack Doyle for the Indianapolis touchdown. And the Colts back in front.
Huge game by Jack Doyle. Remember, the Colts are playing without 3 of their top receivers in this game. No Dante Moncrief, no Philip Dorsett, and no Dwayne Allen. Doyle is lined up next to T.Y. Hilton, who slashes underneath and then go back up. Sneaking in behind the linebacker Williamson. It's just a really well-run route by Jack Doyle.
So Jack Doyle, the former Tennessee Titan, already having the best season of his career. 9 catches, 78 yards. 4th touchdown catch for Doyle on the season. And a career day for him continues.
You know, we talk about the route that was run there. It takes time for that kind of route to develop. That means the protection has to hold up for Andrew Luck. You have to give a lot of credit to this offensive line, who came in much maligned today after giving up so many sacks.
Terry's point after is good, so Andrew Luck putting together a pretty good afternoon for himself as well. 27-39, 353, and that his 3rd touchdown pass this afternoon. Well, it has been plenty of fireworks in this one. Your game summary. This was the botched point after their opening possession touchdown. Karn unable to handle the snap. And then Hilton doing work.
He gets in for a 36-yard touchdown going over the top. He's been a monster today, but DeMarco Murray was able to score this touchdown before the half. That made it 17-13, and then there is Delaney Walker. He gets in for a touchdown, and if not for that botched extra point, even though you get the field goal here, that's how they end up taking the lead 23-20. And then Andrew Luck goes the length of the field. He gets the touchdown, the go-ahead to Jack Doyle. 4-point lead. It would only be a 3-point lead had Kern been able to set that hold down and they get the extra point. But now Marcus Mariota, they need a touchdown and not a field goal, so that botched extra point is coming back to haunt these Tennessee Titans.
Oh, it was anyone's guess how Chuck Pagano's Colts would come back psychologically after that colossal meltdown in Houston last Sunday night. Just 2-4, worst start for them since that forgettable 2011 season. A 2-14 year that eventually led to the hiring of Pagano and the drafting of Luck the following off season. But now all the onus falls on Mike Mularkey in Tennessee. This golden opportunity that they had today to get a little bit closer to first place in the AFC South.
And if you're Chuck Pagano, you're kind of feeling a little bit of heat. You already squandered a 7-point lead entering the fourth quarter. Now you have a 4-point lead. Your defense has got to be able to hold on to it for you.
Mariota and the Titans start from their own 25. First and 10, that football comes loose, and it's taken by Robert Mathis, and he's in for the Colts touchdown. Titans fans in disbelief as Mathis, the old graybeard, picking it up and waltzes in for the 14-yard touchdown.
And the hit, big Ty McGill, number 99, laid the lick on Marcus Mariota. And from there it is. There's the hit, forced fumble. And there is Robert Mathis getting the scoop and the score. Great pass rush by the big guy. McGill's a nose tackle. He's been really good today, and it was the best plays made all day.
Weird. Oh, Robert Mathis has talked about this being the most frustrating part of his career. 14 years in at the age of 35. You see the play by McGill, the defensive gem. And there is Mathis. Finally got his first sack of the season last week, ending the longest drought of his career, which was at 6 games. And Chuck Pagano, guy has been through so much the last couple of years, and there's just something so resilient about this Indianapolis team.
You know, when we sat down with him, I asked him what was the focus this week after squandering that 14-point lead in the fourth quarter 1 week ago in Houston. They really controlled the fight for most of that game for 3.5 quarters. He said, you know what, we wanted to move beyond that quickly and focused all week on being able to finish off games in the fourth quarter, and that was an example of it. The hit by Ty McGill and then the scoop and score by Robert Mathis. They were able to close it out with the defense on the field.
First career touchdown for the 6-time Pro Bowler, Robert Mathis. And what a time to get it with this game still in doubt at that moment. And this long losing streak for the Titans appears to be headed to a 10th straight Colts victory.
But we can't give it to them yet, not with 147. This is the National Football League, and if you're Mike Mularkey, yeah, that team is stunned down there, but you know, Titans still have an opportunity to put points on the board, get back in this thing. But they need to make some plays.
Well, we know Colts fans are thinking that. A lot of Colts fans had turned the TV off at the end of that game last week. Good strike here from Mariota to get the drive going. This is Tajay Sharp out past the 45-yard line. Colts, of course, had that 14-point lead in Houston last Sunday night before the Texans came back. That improbable win. Titans have 1 timeout left. Buck 22 to play. Mariota's pass on the sideline again. Able to find Sharp. 5th-round pick out of UMass. Forced out of bounds by Davis. A pickup of 14.
We've said all along that this Tennessee Titans, right now, it's a very young team with a very young quarterback in Marcus Mariota. They're not built to come from behind and win football games.
Mariota's pass is caught. That's Delaney Walker. Walker left this game earlier with an apparent leg injury, but came back, showing how tough he is. It's a 1st down pickup. Walker now with his 7th catch, 85 yards and a touchdown.
This is the situation that Mike Mularkey wanted to avoid. You have a young quarterback and you have to drop back and throw it every single down, try to read coverages. Can the protection hold up? Can you keep your quarterback from getting that fumble?
There is no foul for 12 men on the field. The player who was leaving the field was the 11th player. 2nd down.
So Jerome Boger will pick up the flag. And Salman, how about this decision? Mike Mularkey will send out his field goal unit here.
And now he's bringing the field goal kicker back off the field. He heard us talking about it. Like, what are you doing? No, touchdowns. We value those over field goals.
He's keeping Indianapolis on its toes here. So the field goal unit comes onto the field, then off. And with a minute left, Mariota and company come back out. 1 timeout left, quick snap. Mariota from the gun. Underneath and off the hands of the rookie running back, Derrick Henry.
When Henry came out of Alabama, 2nd-round pick, former Heisman Trophy winner, this is something he didn't do a lot of. He was a downhill runner, and rarely did he come out of the backfield as a receiver, and you could see right there, that's a part of his game he's got to work on.
Titans entering today, fewest drop passes of any team in the league, tied with both Dallas and Minnesota. And that's one that they needed badly right there. Does stop the clock, 55 seconds. 3rd and 10. This place has gotten awfully quiet. Mariota taking a shot back of the end zone. But the intended receiver, Matthews, just running out of real estate after he's able to come down with the football. And on 4th down, back comes the field goal unit.
Yeah, it's just a little too long, and Matthews unable to stay in the end zone.
This day began with such high hopes. This town buzzing over Tennessee, finally putting together back-to-back wins. First time since late in the 2013 season. And so there's just something about these Colts. They have had Tennessee's number. As that field goal by Suckup is good from 44 yards out, so an 8-point game. Touchdown and a 2-point conversion away from potentially tying it with under a minute left.
So they get the field goal. You know you got to bring out the hands team here. If you're the Titans, try to get the onside kick. Hope you can recover it.
Another reminder coming up next. Critical showdown in the AFC. Patriots Steelers. How does Pittsburgh handle things without Ben Roethlisberger? That game in Pittsburgh. You can see it coming up. 4:25 Eastern kick right here on CBS. Last time they had a successful onside kick, go back about 3 years, December 15th, 2013 against Arizona. And this is always nervous time for a special teams coach as they get ready.
They've tried 5 times since that successful one in 2013. All 5 of those failed.
So Suckup will line up, put it down at the 35. This one takes the bounce that they wanted. Titans just unable to get there. And the late flag comes in at the top of your picture.
It's actually a good kick. It took the high hop as you would want once it gets to the numbers.
Free kick out of bounds, kicking team number 4. It'll be Indianapolis' ball at the spot where the ball went out of bounds. First down.
But there's no one in the blue jersey was able to leak through. Now it has to travel 10 yards before you can recover it right about that 45-yard line. But look, no blue jerseys was able to get there to make the recovery.
Andrew Luck and the Colts will take a knee. Tennessee does have one final timeout that they can stop the clock with here. Such an important game in the division for both teams. Colts with this win will get to 3-4. Tennessee's little mini winning streak will come to an end, and it is all over. Chuck Pagano, the eternal optimist, getting his team ready after that very disheartening finish in Houston, and for Mike Mularkey and the Titans, certainly not the ending that they were envisioning here in Week 7.
You know, Mularkey and many of the coaches, they talked about that 9-game losing streak to the Colts, and you know, they pretty much blew it off, said, hey, that's not on our resume. It happened most of those games before we ever arrived, but you know, this one is on the resume, and it's a hurdle the Titans are going to have to overcome.
10th straight win for the Colts over their division rivals, the Tennessee Titans. Your final 34-26. Coming up next, the Patriots and the Steelers in Pittsburgh. Now for Solomon Wilcott, Spiro Dita saying so long from Nashville. You've been watching the NFL on CBS.